15th of June 2024. This is a loose cannon. It cannot be anything else. And in this one I want to talk about the racist utterances on social media by many of these militant young blacks. Now there's a few facts that we have to get straight before I can have this discussion. The first thing that blacks must understand, they talk about white people as a collective, and then they refer to Afrikaners. Now, if you, the militant little black keyboard warrior, had a decent education and you learned the history of South Africa properly, you would understand that there's two groups in the Afrikaans community. It's the Afrikaners and the Boere. Now the Boere, by you calling us a collective Afrikaners, it's the same thing as like saying a Zulu and a Xhosa is the same. I have to use Xhosa, or a Zulu and a Swazi. It's the same. That's what you are saying about me. I'm not an Afrikaner, I'm a Boer. But you call me an Afrikaner. But you're going to be very unhappy if you're a Zulu and I call you a Swazi, or I call you a Xhosa. You will be very unhappy. So get that into your brains. There's two tribes. Actually, it's only the Boere that's a tribe. The Afrikaners are not a tribe. They're, I don't know what to call it, but they don't have a tribal instinct. Fuck all. They are what they are. Opportunists, and they go for the money. The Boere is different. Now it was the Boere that moved out of the Cape when the Groot Trek started. And again, if you had a good educational background and you know the history of South Africa, you would know wherever those Boere has gone in the interior, there was vast tracts of land with no people in it. And they settled some of those lands. But there were other land that were negotiated between the Boere and the black tribes. They were either exchanged for money or exchanged for services or what. The Zulus gave land to the Boere after the Boere did some work for them in getting their cattle and women back from other marauding tribes. But all of those land deals were done between the kings and the Boere. And the stuff is written down, history is there. But again, your 30% pass doesn't allow you to have that knowledge. So you and your fucking we stole the land cuck must fuck off into the Indian Ocean. Because you don't know what you are talking about. You have no clue. And then you go and you boldly proclaim your idiocy on social media. We stole the land from your ancestors. Fuck! The vast majority of you don't even know who your own father is. But those are things that are, fortunately, there are other blacks in other countries that are intelligent, that are educated, that are making comments about this. So you low IQ, 30% passers, you have got no fucking significance other than making noise. That is what you're doing. But let's look at the other side of it. What have you fucking built in 30 years? If you're under the age of 40, you have no fucking idea of what a functional state is. You don't know what it means when a hospital is functioning. You don't know what it means when a train is running on time every day. You've got no fucking idea about that. You have no clue of people, black people, that works in the cities and in the factories and went home at night with trains, and they could safely go to their houses, not being robbed and mugged either on the train or on the streets, because the fucking police were functioning. But you have got no fucking idea of that because you were born into a fuck-up, a dysfunctional fuck-up that this ANC brought to you, you and your black government, that you built your own fucking nightmare, but you want to project it onto me. And you're quick to call me a fucking racist. And then there's this shit that some of your fucking worm-infected, low IQ brains cannot... I don't know how the hell you get to that. The Boere want their own churches. They wanted their own schools. They wanted their own space. They did not want to mix with you. But yet you can come onto social media and then say, the Boere raped your ancestors. Fuck you! What gives you the fucking idea I want to rape a black woman? But your mental state is so disconfoculated. You think that I operate under the same impulses that you operate. So you project your instincts onto me. You are fucking mental. But you like to make these statements. And if anyone tried to oppose you, they call us a racist and I don't know what the fuck else. But the problem is, you have no clue of the history of South Africa. It was Boer women and children that were raped and killed and tortured to death in the concentration camps. And sad to say, blacks were, the British used blacks to do a lot of those things. So, that is our history. Our ancestors, my ancestors, were killed and tortured and raped. Not yours, but what you are unaware of is that same British that killed so many Boer women and children in the concentration camps, killed 12,000 of your ancestors as well. But you're totally fucking unaware of that. The other reality that you little keyboard warrior, must get into your fucking brain is the Boere fought for this country. Boer blood was shed to keep the British out. And what did you do? You and your ANC government, you gave it all fucking back to the British and to the Americans. That's what you did. And today, you can scream white monopoly capital. But you empowered the white monopoly capital. You empower Triple X. You are Triple X cannon fodder. They are using you to steal the riches of the country. But the Boere that fought for it and paid with their lives for it, you want to make nasty statements against them. I was thinking earlier today, when I read up about what happened during the Anglo-Boer War, if the British did succeed in wiping all the Boere out, because you must understand, they were only after the mineral wealth of South Africa. They felt fuck all for the rest. They want the mineral wealth. And it's the same today. Say all the Boere was wiped out. What gives you the idea that they wouldn't have wiped you out as well? It would have been easy to wipe you out because you can't fight back. They tried to wipe the Zulus out. And the first big battle, the Zulus lost. And then Boere went to the Zulus and say, whoa, you're fighting this fucking British the wrong way. Let us show you how to fight the British. And the next battle, Zulus fucked the British up. 6 love. Wiped them basically out. That is the history that you little keyboard warrior with your 30% pass sitting on Twitter, most probably with a stolen phone. You don't know about these things. That is a big problem. But you need to look around you and take good cognizance of your future. You don't have a fucking future because your government did not invest in your education. Instead of investing in your education and making sure that there were enough teachers and classrooms, no. They dropped the pass rate to 30. So now it's easy to pass. So you think you're now clever because you passed. That 30% means fuck all. You get to matric and you're unemployable. Employers don't take you because they know you're uneducated. So you're uneducated, you have no skills. And you're unemployed and you're unemployable. What future do you think you have? Do you think for one moment that the capitalists are going to finance you for the rest of your life so that you can survive? They refer to you as useless eaters. So, you better go back to the history books and find out what the hell actually happened in South Africa before you make stupid fucking statements accusing me that I have stolen your land, accusing me of raping your fucking ancestors. Are you out of your fucking mind? What gives you the idea I want to do something like that? This is unfortunately YouTube, so I have to curtail my expressions. But I can tell you in flowery language exactly what I think about fucking thoughts like that. But it is because of your low IQ and 30% pass that you make stupid fucking statements like that and think that me, a boer, is driven by the same barbaric urges that you have. Go and look in your communities how your old women are being raped. Not by Boere, by you. How your children are being abused. Not by Boere, by you. But you can sit on Twitter and make your stupid fucking statements. We want the land. Go and buy fucking land if you want land. When I started working and got married and I wanted land, I looked in the newspapers and I found a place that I could afford and I bought it. Nobody gave it to me. I bought it. Why don't you do that? No. You are entitled. And it is your entitlement that are sinking your fucking future. But you're too fucking stupid to realize that. With all this shit that you are doing in a country, destroying the industries, destroying the economy, destroying the infrastructure, do you think Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin look at it and smile and say, well done, boys? They look at it and shake their heads and think, what the fuck is that? But you have this fucking illusion of your superior logic and natural intelligence. You don't need to study to acquire knowledge. But your problem starts in the home. You grow up without a father, so you're undisciplined. And that is the rest of your life. Undisciplined. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. But if I say that, you call me a racist. I don't give a fuck if you call me a racist. I am a man that knows who I am. I know where I come from. I can trace my ancestry back 9 generations. And as I said, many of you don't even know who your own father is. But you are going to pay for it because the world is splitting. The West is collapsing. And it was those people in the West they are living off our natural resources. And they use our natural resources to maintain their lifestyle. And then they basically steal our resources, and then they make loans to these politicians for, they call it all types of projects and what. But you, the ordinary people, never see that money because the elite takes it all. But that streams of money is drying up. Most of the countries in the West is now bankrupt. Do you for one moment think Russia or China or Saudi Arabia or Iran is going to give you money to supply you with an income per month while you bring nothing to the economy? You have got problems. BRICS is not a charity operation. And I don't know how you are going to get yourself out of this shit. But you have to take serious note of your actual situation. You're uneducated, you're unskilled, and that means you're unemployable. So you don't have a future. And you must stop with your cuck of projecting your urges, your barbaric urges, onto me and my tribe, the Boer tribe. We are proud people, and we are hard-working people. We work very hard, and we work for everything that we want. And it was white people that built this country, which you fucked up. It was you sitting there tweeting your shit. You see big construction things like the dams we have and power stations and all of that. You did not build it. Whites built it. Yeah, they used black labor. They paid for the labor, and this slavery cuck, you have got no fucking idea what you're talking about. But it was whites that built the infrastructure of this country. And now, well, look what's happening now to you here in Gauteng. You're running fucking out of water. Wow, how did that fucking happen? Easy. In 30 years, you did no maintenance on the water infrastructure, plus you did not expand it. And in the meantime, you bred like rabbits. You shot up from 45 million to 65 million. So how the fuck did you think the infrastructure of 1994 must be able to cope with 20 million people more? And then we don't even mention the 20 to 25 million illegal immigrants that's in the country that's also pulling water and pulling electricity. But you did no maintenance, you did no expansion, and you built nothing. I wonder, how the fuck did that happen? But you, under 40, you never saw a working country. You grew up and you live in chaos. So you think that is how it is, because you've got no reference. I've said it many times, you blacks, sitting here tweeting and all that cuck, you should actually try and find your tribe, get into your car or get into a taxi or what, and go into the rural areas and find some of the old men there, 60, 65 plus, and then just sit down with them and ask them about South Africa, and then you listen to what he tells you. I've seen how many of you reacted when Ike Khumalo talks, but you can make your stupid fucking remarks and comments on his videos. The problem is, he was there, you not. That is the big difference. I'm sitting here. I was there. I was on many of the construction sites where dams were built. I was on many of the construction sites where bridges were built. I saw with my own eyes highways being built, railway lines being built. I saw it. I saw the development. You, when you got to the place that you started noticing things around you, all of that were already fucked up. So you have got no idea of what it was like when it worked. But let's see I am telling you today, tonight, your future looks bleak. The other BRICS nations, I watched and listened at a lot of the interviews that was done at the latest SPIEF conference, and all those countries that were there, the representatives were there, they were just looking for opportunities to get better economic growth in their countries, to make life better for their people. But here in South Africa, what are you doing? You're fucking all the infrastructure that is left, you're fucking it up. Your unemployment figures for the youth is over 65%. And you're not worried about that. But you can call me a racist. And your biggest problem is, the Boere can help you. And the Boere has proven it in the past. The Boere has got a history of assisting communities. But you don't want that. You want BEE. What did BEE bring in your pocket? Fuck all. Made a few black billionaires. But you, the ordinary guy, you got fuck all out of it. And the big problem is, and I had a talk with a young black guy the other night again. He contacted me on WhatsApp. He wants to start his business. I'm not going to talk about the details of it. And he asked me, okay, how must I do this? How must I do that? How there? And I helped him where I could. And then I referred him to some other people that can help him. And once the discussion was over, I thought to myself, it is such a pity. Because if it was not for the BEE, there would have been thousands of small and medium white businesses that could transfer skills to the black youngsters to help them to eventually get their own businesses going. But with the BEE, what happened? The young, over 1 million of the young whites packed up and they went overseas. So you robbed yourself. I cannot understand the logics. Here is the country, it's got a component, yes, a minority, of people that has a proven track record of being capable of building stuff. And now you blacks, you racist little fuckers, keep that pool of skills. You keep them out of the industry and out of the economy. And you think you have achieved something. All you actually achieved is robbing yourself. But that is what stupid people do. And Moses 6 verse 6 is clear about it. Stupid people must suffer. And we see the suffering. But Moses 6 verse 13 is more serious. It says, fuck around and find out. Now you guys have been fucking around for 30 years and now you're finding out. What does most of the white Boere do today? They provide for themselves and for their families. They don't grow the businesses to create more job opportunities. They don't do it because they don't want any part of the labor laws and all of that shit. So they have lowered their own expectations and their own capacity to be self-sufficient and to provide a future for their children. I see it, how young white guys that are starting their own businesses and they've got children, and from very early on, the children are introduced to the business and their dads are teaching them and transferring skills. Because most of the Boere are no longer transferring skills. I myself, at a stage, I had a lot of labor and I invested heavily in my time, money and effort to train my workers to be better skilled in what we were doing. And about 10 years ago, I stopped and I don't transfer any skills. Today, I haven't got much workers left, but if a worker has got a problem, I go, I take the tools, I do it, and I put the tools away. I don't teach him how to do it. I do it and put it away. That is what I do. That is what you, racist blacks, that is what you did to me. Why must I share my skills? I'm not going to do it. You hate me. You want to kill me. You sing songs about it. Why the fuck must I transfer skills? You don't need my skills. You must figure this shit out for yourself. It will take you maybe another 100 years. If you're here, but you're not going to make it. That's the realities. But this is where we are. Our country is fucked. Our economy is fucked. This government cannot fix it. They cannot fix it. You should go and read up and listen and investigate what Singapore did. You must go and look what China did. China raised 800 million people out of poverty in 30 years. What did you blacks in South Africa do? In 30 years, you got 45% of the population unemployed. Not very, very clever, I would say. Actually, the cleverness is broken. But you think you're smart. You think you know everything. You must ask yourself, why are the other countries, and now I'm talking about BRICS countries, China, Russia, Iran, why are they so keen to get boere there? Why? I'll tell you why. Because they know the boere is skilled, the boere is disciplined, and the boere is hard workers. They know it. The reputation of the boere is across the globe. You go and look, Iran. You must go and look at Iran and see how many boere brains is in the Iran military-industrial complex. You sit and you look on social media and you see now the Russians are using those dumb bombs are now smart bombs. They've got little wings on and the pilot or ground controllers can guide that bomb. It's a glide bomber. I've got news for you. The boere did that during the Bush War already. Let that sink in. Look at our Rooikat helicopter. Still today, the best attack helicopter in the world. But what did South Africa do? Fucked the nail up. What did your black compatriots, your black comrades do? They sold the Nell missile secrets to the Saudis and to Iran. Worse, some of those secrets were given to the Iranians. How fucking stupid can you be? But this is the problem. You sit with your 30% pass on Twitter and you send your shit into the world and you think you are very clever. Your problem is you're like a person that is running a marathon, a long distance runner, running the comrades from Durban to Pietermaritzburg. You are so far behind, there's nobody that you can see in front of you. And now in your brain, you think you're ahead. Reality is going to bite you. It's already biting you. But in any case, I just had to get this off my chest. And come into the commentary and call me a fucking racist and call me whatever you like. I don't give a continental fuck about that. All I'm telling you, don't call me a Afrikaner. I'm a boer. Don't you ever forget that. The boer has got a history. Go and read up on it. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. Thank you for your support.